Hello, darlings from the YouTube. Is that right?
Yep, keep going.
Right. Today I want to share with you the history of gingerbread. After all, I am known as the gingerbread capital of Ontario. If we go back 5,000 years, it was the Indian and Chinese who used ginger for all ailments, since it comes from their land. Ginger has a long history of being cultivated in other countries too, though, through trade with India and China. For example, it was exported to the Romans, which popularized its use until the Roman Empire fell. After the Romans, it was the Arabs that controlled the spice trade in the East. Spices like ginger then became much more costly. It wasn't until the medieval times that it began being used for sweets. As trade expanded into the Americas, ginger became a very popular spice in the Caribbean and Africa. It was only in recent years that it became much more popular as a spice than a medicine. It is said that Elizabeth I was the one who popularized it as a sweet by inventing the gingerbread man, thus leading to the popular Christmas treat. One of the stories collected by the Brothers Grimm was Hansel and Gretel, which included the children finding a house made of gingerbread, decorated very nicely and uniquely with icing and candy. The unique style of housing then became much more popular in the Victorian era, as the technology evolved and they were able to create decorations that matched the gingerbread house. It was Queen Victoria's inspiration that led to such a styling of housing, and heavily influencing the architecture of housing built in her reign, so that it matched the gingerbread housing. At some point, it was such a popular styling that you could just order it via catalogs such as Sears. Unfortunately, after the Depression and World War II, it became too costly to create such fancy decorations for housing. But the Victorian era still remains the most flamboyant and decorative age of housing and architecture. This history is important to Vankleek Hill because many of our oldest houses were built in this era and built with the gingerbread style, which is why Vankleek Hill is the gingerbread capital of Ontario. We are known for our beautiful Victorian houses and our locally made red brick. We are very proud of this part of our history and that the style has remained in many of the old houses here. I also really love making gingerbread cookies. Do you want one?
They can't eat gingerbread cookies through the camera.
I know that. I was asking you.
Oh, well, all this talk about gingerbread has made me hungry.
It's always good to have a snack. After all, we did a lot of learning today, so you should treat yourself. Goodbye!